everything you need to get ahead in life. There was a time in your life when the world hadn't yet taught you how to doubt yourself. A time when your dreams were wild, your heart was open, and everything seemed possible. You didn't second-guess your potential, didn't weigh your passion against what others thought was realistic. You simply wanted, and you went after what you wanted with everything you had. You didn't calculate how far you'd fall. You just jumped arms open, soul burning, believing the sky would catch you. That fire, that raw, relentless energy wasn't something you learned. It was something you were. You were born with it, and no one had to convince you to try. No one had to motivate you, because you knew in the deepest parts of yourself that you were made for something bigger. But over time, that certainty began to fade. Not because it wasn't real, but because the world chipped away at it. Slowly, subtly, subtle. With every disappointment, every failure, every voice that said, maybe you're not enough, you started to believe the lie. You started to shrink your goals so they wouldn't scare you. You settled. You silenced your instincts. You started trading your fire for safety, your boldness for approval, and your voice for silence. That childlike belief, the one that made you unstoppable, didn't disappear overnight. It eroded, one compromise at a time. And now here you are with a fire inside you that's grown quiet, not gone. Never gone, but buried under the weight of everything you've been told you're not. And yet the truth is the fire never left. It's still in you, waiting, watching, wanting to burn again. You've just forgotten how powerful you truly are. You've let the world convince you that your dreams are too much, your ambition is too loud, your potential too far away. But deep down, your soul remembers. It remembers what it felt like to want something so deeply it hurt. It remembers the way your heartbeat raced when you imagined becoming someone more. And if you listen closely, if you sit in the silence and get brutally honest with yourself, you'll feel the flicker, the whisper, the old roar starting to rise again. And when you do, you'll understand that your purpose never left you. You simply stopped chasing it. So now it's time to fan that flame. Time to stand back up and stop pretending you're ordinary. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to rise, to push, to shake the very foundation of your life. Everything you've been through hasn't extinguished your fire. It's proven it. If you've made it this far, you're already stronger than most people ever give themselves credit for. So reclaim it. Reclaim the hunger that once made you dangerous. Start walking like someone who remembers who they are. You don't need a sign. You don't need a sign. You don't need permission. You just need to make the decision to light your fire again. Because the moment you do, everything changes. We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid pain, trying to dodge the very thing that was designed to grow us. But pain, true, raw, unrelenting pain is not your enemy. It's your passport. It's the stamp that proves you've entered the territory where real transformation happens. Look around at anyone you admire, anyone who's accomplished greatness, and what you'll always find is this. They've walked through hell. They've sat in silence with their failure. They've been broken, bruised, betrayed, and battered. And yet they didn't run from the pain. They let it refine them. Pain isn't a punishment. It's the price of the climb. It's life's way of asking you how badly you want what you say you want. Everyone wants success until they feel what it truly costs. That cost is pain. But those willing to pay it, they are the ones who rise. The lie we're often sold is that if it hurts, something must be wrong. That if it's hard, we're not cut out for it. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Pain is often the greatest sign you're doing something that matters. It means you're stretching, reaching, growing. Just like a muscle must tear to get stronger, your character must break to rebuild. Pain humbles. It strips away the ego, the illusion of control, and forces you to confront who you really are. It tests your commitment. Will you keep moving forward even when everything inside you screams to stop? Will you choose growth even when it's agonizing? Because those moments, those painful, lonely, gut-wrenching moments, are where your true self is forged. You can't build resilience in comfort. You can't discover your strength in the shallow end of life. You've got to step into the deep, let the waves crash, and still find a way to swim. Think back to your hardest seasons, the nights you didn't think you'd make it, the losses that felt unbearable, the betrayals that cut you in half. You survived them. And if you're honest, those moments taught you more than any success ever could. Pain gave you perspective. It revealed your blind spots. It showed you who was real, who wasn't, and what you were made of. And most importantly, it taught you how to fight. Because once you've been through real pain, surface-level problems don't shake you anymore. You've already lived through worse. You've already faced the fire. And now you carry a strength that can't be faked. A quiet, unshakable knowing that you've walked through things that would have destroyed most people. That's the power of pain. It carves depth into your spirit that nothing else can reach. So no, don't wish the pain away. Oh, it's advice. Don't numb it. Don't escape it. Use it. Let it fuel you, focus you, forge you. Let it be the evidence that you're not just living, you're becoming. Because every scar is a chapter in your victory story. Every ache is a reminder that you're still fighting. And every tear is a seed that will bloom into strength. Stop looking for shortcuts. The hard way is the way. And when you finally reach the summit, when you stand tall with wounds that have turned into wisdom, you'll understand it wasn't despite the pain that you got here. It was because of it. You are not your circumstance. Those 5 words can shatter chains if you truly let them sink in. Too many people look around at their life, their environment, their paycheck, their past, and decide that's who they are. They wear their circumstances like a second skin, believing that struggle is identity, that limitation is destiny. But that's a lie the world sells to keep you small. Where you were born, what you've been through, the conditions you're in right now, none of that defines you. That's geography, not identity. That's background, not blueprint. Your soul, your heart, your will. Those things are not confined by zip codes or timelines. You don't belong to your hardship. You're not a prisoner of the pain you were handed. You're the one who gets to decide what your life means. Your circumstance is not a cage. It's a classroom. And if you're willing to stop seeing yourself as a victim of what's around you, you can start becoming the architect of what's ahead of you. Think about the stories we celebrate, the legends, the leaders, the game changers. How many of them were born with everything lined up perfectly? Almost none. They were born into chaos, into broken homes, poverty, oppression, pain. But what separated them from the masses wasn't luck. It was the decision to rise above their environment instead of becoming it. They didn't let hardship define their identity. They redefined the meaning of their hardship. They turned wounds into weapons, pressure into purpose. They didn't look at where they were and say, this is it. They looked at where they were and said, watch me turn this into something more. That shift in mindset, from being a product of your circumstances to becoming a force that transcends them, is the turning point of every transformation. You don't need your situation to change before you start believing. You need your belief to change before your situation ever will. Too often we wait for money, for the right time, for someone to give us a chance, as if we need permission to outgrow the life that's suffocating us. But here's the truth. You are allowed to want more, even if the people around you are settling. You are allowed to dream bigger, even if your world is small right now. You are allowed to break generational patterns, even if it makes you feel like an outsider. Just because you've never seen it done doesn't mean you can't do it. You are not obligated to repeat the cycle you were born into. You are not required to wear your pain like a uniform. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become after it. And that power, that sovereignty, lives inside you whether you feel it or not. Every great life begins with someone daring to believe that their current situation isn't their final story. Be that someone. So if your back's against the wall, if everything around you feels impossible, remember this. You've already survived what was meant to break you. You've already endured days you never thought you'd get through. That alone proves that you're stronger than your surroundings. Don't let a dark chapter convince you that the whole book has to be tragedy. Don't let temporary conditions become permanent limitations. You are not stuck. You are standing at the edge of a choice. You can either live by the narrative your circumstances wrote for you, or you can rewrite the script entirely. Choose power. Choose hope. Choose to rise. Because in the end, it's not what's around you that defines your future. It's what's within you. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not loud. It won't always get applause or validation. But discipline, real discipline, is the difference between a person who wants something and a person who becomes something. It is the unshakable force that carries you when motivation runs dry, when excitement disappears, when everything in your life is screaming for you to quit. You see, motivation is based on how you feel, and feelings are fragile. Some days you'll wake up inspired. Most days you won't. That's where discipline steps in. It doesn't care how tired you are, how much doubt you're feeling, or how far the finish line looks. Discipline isn't emotional. It's not romantic. It's a daily, relentless decision to show up, to follow through, to keep the promise you made to yourself long after the emotion you made it in has faded away. That's what makes it a superpower, because it never waits for permission. The world is full of talented people who never go anywhere. People with potential, with big dreams, with bold ideas, who keep waiting to feel ready. They start something strong and stop the moment it gets hard. They look for shortcuts, for hacks, for bursts of energy to carry them to the top. But the truth is, there's no elevator to greatness. There's only stairs, long, grueling, silent stairs. Discipline is the climb. It's what gets you out of bed when comfort tells you to sleep in. It's what makes you pick up the book when distractions tempt you to scroll. It's what pushes you to the gym, to the journal, to the hustle, even when no one's watching and no one's clapping. It's boring. It's repetitive, but it's also where champions are born, because over time, discipline compounds. What feels like small, invisible effort today turns into undeniable results tomorrow. And by then, the ones who are waiting on motivation, they've long since disappeared. You want to stand out in a world full of noise? Be disciplined. Show up when others cancel. Keep going when others stall. Stay focused when others chase shiny objects. Because while everyone else is addicted to instant gratification, you become the person who plays the long game. You become the one who's dangerous. Not because you have more talent, but because you won't quit. Discipline builds character. It teaches you to do hard things even when the reward isn't immediate. It teaches you to be your own accountability, your own source of drive. That kind of self-respect, that ability to rely on yourself regardless of the external world, that's rare. And rare is powerful. Every day you practice discipline, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. And every day you skip it, you reinforce the old story, the one that kept you small. So ask yourself, who do you want to be? Someone who starts strong but fades under pressure, or someone who's undeniable, who rises again and again because they've trained themselves to show up no matter what? But you don't need to be faster. You don't need to be smarter. You need to be consistent. That's what separates the exceptional from the average. Not luck, not genius, discipline. And once you master it, everything changes. Because when you no longer need motivation to move, you become unstoppable. The world makes way for those who show up day after day, storm after storm. And you, with your discipline, become something few ever do. Inevitable. The greatest lie you've ever been told is that you're chasing something far away, that the victory is somewhere in the future waiting for you to earn it, waiting for you to finally become worthy of it. But here's the truth most people never understand. The victory is already yours. It's not in the hands of fate, not in the opinions of others, not locked in some distant, unreachable timeline. It's been inside you from the beginning. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about uncovering who you've always been. You were born with everything you need: strength, vision, resilience, fire. But the world tried to dim it, tried to bury it under fear, comparison, shame, and doubt. You've spent your life looking outside for what's always been within. That's why the journey isn't about pursuit. It's about alignment. When you finally remember who you are and act like it, the world responds. People spend years running in circles because they think victory is a destination. But victory is deciding to rise when you feel broken. It's choosing to act even when you don't feel ready. It's refusing to let your current struggle define your final story. Winning isn't about getting everything perfect. It's not about always feeling strong or always having clarity. Victory is persistence. Victory is consistency. Victory is showing up when everything around you says, hey, don't bother. That's what separates people who arrive from people who only dream. It's not the obstacles that determine the outcome. It's what you believe about yourself while facing them. Because the person who knows the victory is already theirs doesn't ask, will this work? They ask, who do I need to become to step into it? When you walk with that mindset, when you carry the energy of someone who has already won, everything changes. Your confidence shifts. Your presence grows. You stop seeking approval and start creating your path. You stop begging life to give you something and begin showing life you're ready to take it. And people feel it. Opportunities open. Not because you're lucky, but because you've stopped hesitating. You've stopped doubting. You've stopped hiding. You become magnetic, not through arrogance, but through certainty. And certainty isn't built on results. It's built on identity. You've done the work. You've felt the fire. You've been through storms that tried to crush you, and you're still here. That is not coincidence. That is not survival. That is proof that your victory isn't waiting to be given. It's been earned. And now it's time to walk like it. So stop waiting. Stop wondering. Stop shrinking. The person you need to be is already in you, and the life you want isn't somewhere far away. It's one decision away. One shift in belief. One day of action that becomes a pattern, that becomes a habit, that becomes your new normal. The crown is not at the end of the road. It's already on your head. You've just forgotten how to wear it. So lift your chin. Step forward. Speak with conviction. Act with power. Because when you truly believe the victory is already yours, you start moving like a champion. And champions don't chase greatness. They embody it.